Hi media students, in this video I'm going to be talking you through how to plan for the unseen, which comes up in component 1 section A of the exam. So planning for the unseen, just to give you a sense of the past paper questions that have come up, they are along these sort of lines. So how is media language used to influence or create meaning? How does media language use codes and conventions to create meaning? So that's sort of more to do with the genre of the text, and conventions is just like the typical features that you might find in that. For example, if it was a horror film, think about the colours that would be used, think about the type of people that would be used, that sort of thing. What kind of viewpoints and ideologies are created using media language? A question like that might apply a little bit more to a newspaper front page, for example. So those are the kind of questions you might get. In terms of what unseen text you might get, it really can vary. So in the past it's been newspaper front pages, it's been unseen music videos, it's been unseen film posters, and unseen moving adverts. For example, charity adverts, or for certain brands like Dolce & Gabbana. So those are the kind of media products you might be asked to write about. So one way to prepare for this exam, this section of the exam anyway, is to just consume lots of media, watch adverts, look at unseen film posters, just practice using all of the skills that you're learning, and give yourself questions with these sorts of words in. So in terms of note-taking, how does it actually work? Well, obviously, if it's a front page of a newspaper or a film poster, you don't really have to worry too much about how am I making my notes, although I will discuss that in a later video, because you've got time to do that. However, if you've got a music video or a moving advert, you're only going to be seeing it 3 times, so you have to be really strategic about how you're actually taking your notes. In terms of note-taking, the first viewing, I wouldn't be making notes personally. I would just be watching the music video or the advert, and I'd be thinking to myself, what kind of message do they want me to receive as a viewer or as a consumer? If you're going for higher marks, thinking a little bit more clearly in terms of what are they commenting on in terms of demographic categories, what are they saying about age, what are they saying about gender, what are they saying about race. Start to try and break down who's in that music video, who's in that advert, and what might be being said through that. Think about power dynamics, who has power and who doesn't in the media product you're looking at, and think about locations and places, like where is it set, what's that going to do for the meaning. And all of those things will link to ideology, so the overall sort of message behind it and the beliefs and the way of thinking. Once you have watched it for the first time and you've got a sense of what the message might be, the second thing to do is to analyse it when you're watching it for the second time in a little bit more of a specific media language type way. So you've got the message in your head and you need to start thinking, okay, what aspects of that moving piece of media are creating that message? So here's a little acronym for you to try and help you maybe sort of order or structure your thoughts and help you to know what to look out for. Is Spock Flames. So I'll tell you what it stands for. The setting, where is it set? People, who's included? Objects, is there anything specific that connotes something within our culture? The colours that are used, the framing that is used, the lexis, so are there any words on screen? The lighting, is it high key, low key? What does that communicate? Angles, what kind of camera angles are used? Movement, so what kind of camera movements are used? Is there any panning? Is there any tilting? Are there any dolly shots? Editing, is it any match cut editing? Is it quick editing? Is it montage editing? And also sound, diegetic, non-diegetic. So that might give you a bit of a framework for the kind of things you might be looking out for. So second viewing, I'd be writing all those things down, and then you've got a 5-minute break. In that 5-minute break before you see the product for the final time, I would be looking at all the notes I've made, maybe trying to group them together a little bit and start analysing. One way to analyse, which can be really helpful, is to kind of give yourself an opposition. So if they've used red a lot in the music video, think to yourself, okay, why haven't they used green? Why have they used red? What is that suggesting? Why have they made that specific decision? How is that influencing meaning? When you watch it for the final time, in that 5 minutes, I would also maybe start thinking to myself, is there anything I missed? Okay, what kind of hair did that girl have? What was her haircut? What was she wearing? And almost maybe write down a list of questions that you want to try and answer in the final viewing. So that's your final time to get down any specific information that you feel like you might have missed. So once you've taken all your notes, I've kind of alluded to this already, but you need to start deciding maybe how these different aspects link together. So does the location link to the colours, link to the people? Can you start bringing them together in your answer? Once you've sort of decided how they link, I would split your answer into about 2 or 3 paragraphs where you've got a topic sentence for each. So there might be more than one meaning that they're trying to communicate. That's totally okay. You can have a topic sentence talking about one, a topic sentence talking about another. We'll then link that all into our big idea intro, which we've talked about before. And in each paragraph, I would have 3 sort of linked examples of Spock Flamesy stuff, media languagey stuff for each. So if you've argued that they are trying to show the viewer how luxurious their brand is by building on the tradition of that brand, maybe the video is set in Rome, maybe the people are wearing certain things, maybe there are certain symbols that are being used, maybe classic cars. Thinking about how everything's building together to create an overall meaning and comment on power or demographic categories. So once you've done that, you then need to think about, okay, I've got my main sort of features, how am I going to link in some theory? A really nice one to link in, especially for newspaper front pages, which do tend to come up quite a bit, is Levi Strauss's binary oppositions, because they always tend to, especially in sort of left-wing or right-wing newspapers, have some sort of binary opposition going on, because they're always trying to sort of point the finger at the other political party that they don't support. So binary oppositions can be really helpful. Also, think about Stuart Hall's reception theory. You are seeing this for the first time, so how are you receiving it? What sort of messages are you decoding? What do you think the preferred reading is? These are all nice theoretical ideas that you can put straight into your answer. Once you've sort of decided your theory, then just use keywords from the question to come up with your big idea intro. Again, it doesn't have to be really long, because the sort of standalone unseen question is only 15 marks. Obviously, you then have to compare an unseen to a set product. That's slightly different. So with this, it can just be a really sort of simple, this is what I think the meaning and the message is. This is how theory sort of interlinks with it. And if you kind of follow this framework and you practice it with text you haven't seen before, you should hopefully start feeling really confident to approach the unseen.